Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Southern Garden. If you're new here, I'm Sarah. If you're not new here, I am still Sarah. I'm so glad you're here. Today is a beautiful fall day and we are working in the rose garden. We're going to put in some new plants that we just picked up this past week. Um, a bird just literally flew by. Did you see that? It was like 2 feet from my face. Anyway, we're going to put in some Encore Azaleas, which I've got here on the back section. I believe the name of them is Autumn Chiffon, I believe. Super excited about putting those in. And then I think the other plant that I have, I can't pronounce it. I think it's called Agastache. I'm going to show you that one. It's in the mint family. Um, Beautiful plant. And it was on sale, so I couldn't say no. One thing I have learned through the years, when I created this rose garden, in the beginning, I just wanted roses in it, all roses. But I quickly realized that you need other plants. One, because the roses don't bloom all of the time. They take a break when it's really hot in the summer, especially if you live somewhere that gets really hot like I do. And number two, beneficial insects want different plants in a rose garden. They're attracted to different plants, and it just helps the general ecosystem of your rose garden, helps it stay healthier. So I now have other things in here. I'm actually going to add some daylilies that I've had in containers for many years, probably up in this section. We'll do that later as well. So that you just always have different things blooming. And I think it just gives it good texture. And, you know, the stars of the rose garden are still going to be my roses, obviously, but it's great to have some other things that are blooming when those guys take a break. Regular mint. So catmint is one thing that I have in my garden that I love. Nepeta is another name that it goes by. You can use traditional mint like spearmint or another mint like that, but always keep that in a container because it will take over your garden. The Nepeta, the catmint, that's okay, but the traditional mint like the spearmint or any of the just mint family plants will go crazy. They are great for repelling insects that you don't want in your garden, but you got to just keep them in little potted containers and put the containers around your garden. Rosemary is another plant that's fabulous to have in your rose garden. I do have containers of rosemary. You can also plant it. It's not going to go too wild. You can actually shape it and keep it controlled. But yeah, there's so many great things that you can incorporate, and I'm so excited to get started. So let's go. All right, so this guy right here, I think I'm still on the camera angle. Yes, I am. Agastache. It's Agastache. So I think I am pronouncing it right. It is just a cool, it's in the mint family. It's not supposed to be invasive or anything like that. But what a cool color. I don't have anything like this back here. It is like a peachy, tubular shaped flower with some purple, and it just really brightens up. I mean, I just think it's an awesome look to have back here. So it won't get very tall. I think it's 24. Let me double check for you. It wants full sun. I think it's going to get about 24 inches tall. Yep, 24 inches tall. Space them about 26 to 32 inches apart. That's no problem. And they're going to bloom mid to late summer. These are blooming right now, so everything thinks it's summer still. Really, it's still pretty hot here. So anyway, these are going to look great. Like I said, they were on sale too, and I had seen them previously and thought, that's a cool plant. And then when I saw it on sale, I was like, yes, it's coming home. We are loving that. I'm looking at, did a deer come back here? It looks like one of my roses is bent. Did the dog get on that? Well, we'll deal with that later. But anyway, let me show you the Encore Azaleas that I picked up. So the Encore Azaleas that I picked up, I need to back up so I can get in the camera angle. This is how it is when you shoot all of your own content. You know, it takes a little bit to get things right. Anyway, it's called Encore Azalea. As you guys know, this is Autumn Chiffon. And the breeder that bred these, it's just a really cool story. His name is Buddy Lee. He's down in Louisiana. I watched a piece on him years ago about how these came to be and how long he worked on them. He had been breeding plants since he was a kid. He was actually a registered night nurse and kept his day job for many, many, many years to support his family and everything until his azaleas took off. And every time I go by one of these guys in the store, I think of Buddy Lee. And it's just a really, really neat story. If you have a chance, Google it, read about him. He's a really great guy down there in Louisiana, and I'm very proud to have some of his plants in my garden. These take 4 to 6 hours of sunlight to bloom. That's what you need at least. If they took a little bit less, I'd have in my front flower bed too, but these guys do need a little bit of sun, so they're great for areas that are sunny, or a rose garden, for example. I've got some rebloom azaleas that I'm going to be incorporating to the beds in the front yard, and they can get by with less sun, so that's why I'm going to go with those guys for that project. But out here, we've got these autumn chiffon. They're going to look fabulous, and I cannot wait. And guys, I'm trying not to step on a rose while I'm trying to film. Wouldn't that be about right? Crush your own rose. We have deer. We don't have a ton of deer, but we have enough deer here. And what I use usually is just these bamboo stakes. I get them off Amazon. This is probably the 6-foot one. And I stick these all the way around my rose garden. I just make a little perimeter, and then I use that Deer X mesh and I stretch it, and it comes in like a 150-foot roll. I stick it on these, and I hold it on with these little clips that I also get on Amazon. And what happens is the deer will touch the mesh with their nose, it spooks them, and they take off. So clearly they could go through the mesh if they wanted to, but they don't, because it's like touching a spider web. It freaks them out, they run away. These days, knock on wood, I have been able to take these down from my rose garden because I have giant dogs. I have a Pyrenees poodle mix. She's back there somewhere. And I have a German Shepherd. They're like 2 years old. They're young dogs. And they sleep up here at night, really close to the house, but close to the rose garden. So the deer don't come by anymore. I thought a deer had got that rose, but actually it just got top heavy and fell over, nodded a little bit. But anyway, yeah, these are really great. That's an inexpensive way to keep deer away from your roses. And it kind of blends in a little bit. It looks kind of like a tree or something instead of an ugly plastic looking thing in your garden. Clearly you can build a deer fence, but they can be very pricey. Also depends on where you're trying to put it. You may not be able to fit it in or whatever, but this is a great way to keep deer away. All right, so we're gonna move this mulch back. I always hate disturbing my mulch, but it is the only way to plant. You put one there, right in between those two guys. And then we'll do one over here. And y'all, this is they call it a sharpshooter shovel, I believe. Can you see me? This is my daddy's shovel. I've had this since I was a little kid, and I love that I still have it. I mean, it's not a true shovel, but for me, I don't have a ton of power, unlike my husband, who can dig holes with no problem. And this thing works great for me. What I also love about it is that it was my daddy's. So I'm going to keep it around as long as I can. Now, guys, when we first moved in, this dirt right here was nothing like this. When you mulch something and you mulch it for a couple years, the power of mulch is unreal. Not only does it make your beds look prettier, it really improves the soil texture, gives it nutrients, all that good stuff. So, mulch is more than just making things look nice. It really improves the soil. And this bed has also it was cardboarded completely over 2 years in a row with mulch on top. And that's because the weeds were so bad here. If you've watched my other videos, you've heard me talk about, we bought this property. Nothing had been done to the gardens probably for 10 or 15 years. And we garden with roots and rocks and everything else. We find a way around them. There's a couple roots in this bed. I don't know what they go to. Probably a tree that used to be here. And we just work around it. That's why we're the real Southern Garden, because we're real. It isn't perfect. But we learn as we go, and we improvise, and we do the best we can, flower beds that you got to be careful with trees. You don't let trees come up in your flower beds, because if you do, you're going to pay for it for a long time. Or the next gardener is. Somebody's going to pay for it. So yeah, this soil is it's very dry because it had a dry summer, but it is like butter now compared to what it was when we moved in. It is unreal, the transformation. Hopefully I got all this on camera. You know, you never know when you're filming. I think I got everything in the camera angle. Yeah, I love projects like this that are easy and they're quick, and it's like, you know, they just bring so much to the space, you know? And one thing about my channel, like I said, we're the real Southern garden here. We're real Southern, that's for sure. But also, um, these beds, like I said, we have worked with them. They have been here for a while, but they were not tended to or anything like that for a very long time. So we have to, you know, rejuvenate them and deal with roots and deal with rocks and all of that. You're not looking at a gardener that just brought in, you know, $5,000 worth of dirt and built everything from the ground up. You're looking at somebody who has been working with what was there and trying to get it back to good condition and dealing with all of the things like roots and rocks and all of that. So that is one thing that we do a little different here on this channel. And I think that a lot of you guys can probably relate to that. Usually when you buy a property, you know, someone lived there before, and sometimes they didn't have all the time in the world to take care of things if they got older or whatever the case may be. Sometimes life can get in the way, and there is always a way to fix it and make it work. So that's what we do here. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. All right, there we go. I think that looks, I love the way these are going to look back here. They're going to spread. They don't have to be exactly perfectly on center. Probably drive my husband a little bit crazy, but they're going to spread, and they're two different sizes anyway. So just kind of have them a little bit in front of that boxwood and that sweet Mademoiselle rose that is yet to bloom, but will soon. It's a brand new rose back here. Planted it about a what, month and a half ago, I guess. So those are going to look nice. I'm excited about that. This is some content that you're probably only going to get on my channel, but I think it's really important. So I am really rough on my hands. You've heard me talk about these gloves before, and these gloves really do help with my rose gardening. But I mean, my hands just get dried out. They get, I won't say chewed up. That's a terrible word, but they really do, because I garden pretty now the dog wants to talk to you. Pretty extreme gardening out here. Anyway, and I'm a mom also. So I'm just always using my hands. And this is the best nail polish because it is natural, but it dries fast. And it's not like a quick dry nail polish. It just dries fast, but it protects my nails. When it does come off, it comes off very subtly. It doesn't chip off because it's such a light color, but it gives my nails like some strength and makes them look presentable when we go places. Because if you garden like I do, you know how crazy it is on your hands. I mean, it is really, really tough. And I'm one of those people, I want it all, right? I want to garden and work really hard in my yard. And I still don't want to look like a Wolverine when I go out to dinner or I go to someone's house or whatever it is. So anyway, it's Mineral Fusion is the guy, they're not, maybe they're guys, I don't know. Mineral Fusion is the company that makes this nail polish. And this is my favorite color because of the fact that when it does chip, now we have a helicopter. Guys, I can't get a break today. It's called Pink Crush nail polish, Mineral Fusion. Once again, this is not sponsored. This is just what I love and it works for me. And I'm about to buy another one of these on Amazon because it is so good. And if you're a busy mom or a busy gardener or whatever, you know, you just don't have time. I don't have time for my nails to dry. And I don't want hair sticking to them and everything else that happens, right, when they're trying to dry. This dries so quick. When it comes off, you can't tell. Anyway, Gardener nail polish right here, Mineral Fusion. I might have started a new market, Gardener nail polish. Anyway, this stuff is the bomb. It's really, really good. A lot of times when I garden, I use one glove. Is that weird? It's weird. Anyway, all right. Let's get these autumn chiffon Encore Azaleas in the ground. Y'all, I can't believe how hard the ground is. Like, I shouldn't be surprised because, like I told you, it has been such a drought here in North Georgia. But it still kind of blows my mind how tough the ground really is. I feel like I'm back in California. Lived in California for a little while. And the ground out there is, of course, extremely dry. Usually not that way around Georgia. I'm gonna add some black cow to these holes too, just to give them a little bit of nutrients. Even though we're going to be going into a frost here soon, black cow is a slow release. You know, it's really not. It's a fertilizer for sure, but it's a all natural fertilizer, and it's just different. It's not going to shock them, make them grow a bunch of crazy new growth right before our first frost hits. So, and I'll tell you another cool thing about gardening in the South is that because we have such a long growing season, you can buy a lot of the bulbs right now at discount. Lots of things on discount and still get them in the ground because we still have time. Now remember, if you're in a warm zone, you need to buy pre-chilled bulbs or keep them in the fridge for at least 8 weeks. And then you want to plant them at the very end of December. I'm going to buy all of mine pre-chilled. I'm about to do that. And Tulip World is one of my favorite online resources for tulips. I've always ordered from them and had beautiful tulips every year, so love them. Anyway, but we do have a long growing season, and you can find some stuff on sale right now. There are still some shrubs left at some of the big box stores, like I would say the next week or so before the Christmas trees get there, and you can still plant them. You're going to have enough time. Our first frost should be a light first frost, so it should be okay, and everything should have plenty of time to settle in before we get a really cold snap. So anyway, just a little tip. Seriously, I use black cow on everything from planting my roses to anything, my tea olives, azaleas, whatever it is. If anyone should sponsor me, man, black cow should. I'm always talking about black cow. Be sponsored by cow manure. Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, it would. I'm just going to put a little bit at the bottom of the hole, and I just mix mine in. Some people say put it at the bottom of the hole. Other people, I mix mine in. Like I said, it's a slow release. It isn't going to be a synthetic fertilizer that's going to freak them out or anything like that. So, and it improves the soil texture as well. And now my little autumn chiffon, you come back here, get you back in. Like I said, I always hate roughing up my mulch, but if you're going to plant things, it's kind of part of the deal. The mulch is going to get roughed up. And you can still see, like I said, this bed, it was all cardboarded with painter's paper and cardboard to create it. This little section here was actually an add-on. So this soil was, it was part of the yard. I do think she might have had plants back here though, because things pop up anyway, but I just used rolls of that painter's paper and cardboard boxes for 2 years to get this guy not a lawn anymore and be able to plant in it. Obviously, I added soil because when you're starting from scratch like that, you need to, if you're planting roses, you dig a 24 by 24 inch hole and then you fill it in, you backfill it in with good soil, and you're going to be golden. I use a 1/3 black cow to 2/3 garden soil for all my roses. Have no problem. They work great. I even use that that recipe on a lot of my other shrubs, and they do really well too. So. Let's just take a look at how these guys look. I think they're gonna look great in their new home. They're gonna look really great with Savannah and Belinda's Dream, because that's what I have back here. Now in that far back corner that you're looking at, I think I'm gonna put some kind of garden statuary, either some little garden bunnies. I'm not sure yet. I've thought about getting the statue of, I think she's called like the Greek seasons god or something. I don't know. Then I've thought about doing bunnies. I'm not sure, because you probably think this is weird, but some of the statues remind me too much of like graveyards. So I feel like I don't know. I don't know. Bunnies would not, however. Bunnies, you don't see those, you don't see those in graveyards. So anyway, I'm just silly, but I'm definitely going to put something back there in that corner so that when you're looking at this section of the rose garden, sorry about that. I just kicked the tripod because once again, I need to get a selfie stick so that I can do some things. In that back corner, I think it'll be really nice to have something as a focal point, even though we have our fountain up there on this side. Anyway, so that'll be a project to come. Maybe we'll do that in the wintertime. There's a tag back there. I need to get off of that plant too. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today and helping me get all my plants planted in my rose garden. I had a great time. I hope that you did too. This right here is Savannah Sunbelt, by the way. And woo, I'm telling you, she smells so good. She's one of my favorites. Does not black spot. She's a hybrid tea. You got to get one of these. Cordis Rose. Anyway, I hope that you'll subscribe and give us a thumbs up so that we can see you next time right back here at the Real Southern Garden. Bye.